It's the Daily Talk Show, episode 532.
What's going on, guys?
Weekend Banter with Scooter Derek.
Hey, guys. Great to be back.
Mate, back from episode 500.
Oh, that was the last time you were on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mate, I haven't, I've seen you, but you did a great job. Thank you. Just one more time, thank you.
You're talking about the ambush?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. You know,
I ambushed you into helping us.
these guys know full well my dreaded fear of live stuff, and it's why I became a podcaster and into podcasting.
What is it? What is your fear? I don't know this.
I just get anxious.
He
I
doesn't
get
have a fear.
I
You're
just
talking
build
shit.
up of anxiety before something.
You live stream all the time. You're telling us we need to be live streaming every episode.
Is it because it's from your cave?
I'm not fear of other people live streaming. I'm just saying it's just that fear that I'll.
You do live
because
streams of you opening Pokémon cards and then you give them out.
No, I don't. No, they've stopped that.
There's no evidence to back up what Josh is saying.
Why did you stop that?
Because I was doing it as I've explained to him, but I haven't told Tom yet. I was doing it to teach myself how to best use OBS live and flip between screens and graphics and stuff like that.
Why Pokemon though?
And because my kids are into Pokemon and they're opening the cards anyway, I went, right.
But then you gave them away, didn't you? Upset your son, Tom?
I didn't. I offered to give them away, but I put certain limits on it, whereas there had to be so many viewers and
so
I didn't give any away.
Yeah.
Well, so this was the best part. So I spoke to Scooter on the phone.
Hang on, are you catching this? I'm under the bus here. Can you hear my voice? I'm under the bus.
No, so he did one where he gave one away.
Yeah.
And his son Tom was spewing.
Oh, he was pretty,
because
he was pretty upset.
can you explain what you actually do? You turn it around, revealing a certain card.
Yeah. Well, the kids have shown me this thing. So I'm trying to get a YouTube channel thing up and going, and I'm trying to train myself to get it right, to start doing videos about my podcast production business and stuff like that and all the tech.
A very quirky studio. If you're new to this channel, go to his
Castaway Studios.
on Instagram.
Everywhere, on everything.
It's a kooky little joint. I love it. It's perfect.
It's pretty cool.
It's actually an extension of your personality, to be honest.
Is it
It's
the
like when
rug?
you have a
me
dog and
think
the
about
dog
that.
becomes the dog bit morphs into you.
But so go on. So
It's
the
your
Pokemon thing,
dog.
you get the Pokemon cards out, and then
I don't anymore, but
that's
this
what
is
you were doing.
Yeah, so the kids showed me this channel where people they just literally they're on the screen and they're all excitable, like they're hysterical, and they open a pack of cards, and they open lots of packs of cards and old rare ones and everything, and kids watch it. They kind of satisfy their addiction to opening them without having to spend $6 each time.
Mum won't give me $6.
Yeah.
So they watch them on
How old are these
YouTube.
people opening these
Well,
things?
this is where it gets interesting. No, they're grown people. Like one guy's a lawyer.
They're grown children.
No, he's a lawyer who gave it all up to open Pokemon cards. He says that.
Can you find out? Can you get back up this story, please? Can you just type in the guy that gave up
Lawyer
being a lawyer to open Pokemon cards?
And so
His
does he say
name
that?
is
What an exit
Leon
talk.
Hart. His name is Leon Hart. The kids love him, and he's a happy-go-lucky guy. But there's more to this story. So I thought, let's do this. But I went anonymous. For about 5 minutes I didn't. And then I went, no, this is dumb. I was talking to some of the school parents going, can't believe the kids watch these grown people getting hysterical. And I went, oh, silly.
Yeah.
Who would do that? So I just flipped them to see if there was a way of just
And so it
trying
was
to get
your
some more
hands.
subscribers
So
and stuff.
you had a live stream video, and it's just your hand and a packet of Pokemon cards.
That's right.
And you just peel it off, and then you reveal slowly the different cards that are in the packet.
Exactly. And I thought, well, this could be fun if I do it live, because that's what I wanted to do to make sure I could stream before I offer it to clients. So if I offer them live and people comment, if there's enough people watching, then if they all jump on and say, I want that one, and there's a timer,
Yeah.
right, then I spin a wheel. I've got this, there's like a Daryl's wheel. What do you guys call it? A wheel, like
Yeah,
a
Wheel of
raffle.
Fortune.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Wheel of Fortune
Yeah,
kind of
Wheel of
thing.
Fortune,
You
yeah.
spin the wheel and the seventh commenter wins it, and you send it to them. But I never end up doing that because it just was super creepy. isn't
Well,
it?
so because you did what you I was speaking to you on the phone and I was like, hey, Derek, what are you doing? You're like, I'm live streaming. I said, how can you talk to me? It's like, I've just got music playing. They can just see my hands.
Yeah.
And so then you said that you'd given one away, and the way that it happens is people would mention the card name, and if 4 people mention the correct card name, then the last person to say it wins it. Is that right? Is that? Yeah.
No, if 5 people ask for it, then it qualified. Basically, there was only 3 viewers, so I was safe.
And so anyway,
I take the cards home and give them to the kids.
Well, that's what was happening. But then I was watching, like I simultaneously listening to Derek. I'm like, I'm going to go on here.
He fucked me.
Anyway, I then saw that there was like 4 people that all said one card. And so I said it. And he's like, oh, fuck no. And so he pulls the internet from his power, from his internet.
Young, mate. Come on.
He didn't close the program. He disconnected his internet.
Oh, we've lost connection.
So that his whole so it didn't exist.
It's true. I did. I totally corrupt. This is me being out. I could go to prison for this.
No heart in your.
It's pretty
game. Did you find out about Leon Hart?
Yeah, his name's Lee Steinfeld, and he's a licensed attorney in Dallas, Texas.
And what's he do now? How big is his YouTube channel? Like, how big is this guy?
700,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Jeez.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I wonder if they've pulled them out. I wonder if he's lost monetization based on the new YouTube law where you can't make money from kids' content.
Definitely. And you can't comment either. So kids wouldn't even be able to comment anymore on your stuff.
Well, if
it's specific for kids.
I pulled the pin on this whole thing.
Why?
Well, because I'd done what I need to do. You keep forgetting that I was just doing it to train myself to do the streaming thing, right? So I pulled the pin on this thing, and then at the same time, COPPA, Children's Online Protection something, right? And all these new laws, this new YouTube stuff, you'll know when you put a YouTube up, it says, is this aimed at kids, right? So that was to do with some YouTube getting fined $170 million from FDA or 3 letters in America, right? They got a fine.
FTC?
FTC, yeah, that sounds about right. And so there's all this kind of hype going on if you're aiming at kids. And I went, oh, fuck that. I'm not, I'll have to practice in a different way, right? And it's to protect the kids. So kids can't, so instead of the parents having to go, YouTube's a minefield. Like I've got kids, and if they watch a video, you go, my kids aren't allowed to watch a YouTube video unless I say they can. But it rolls into another one, which might be completely random.
Well, and the swipe ups, and then you can see a list and
it's a minefield.
What sort of stuff are they searching? What do kids search?
I don't know.
No, I don't think it's a lot of. I mean,
it's more the recommendation.
And so it's the rabbit hole you get down.
So I saw that there's a new YouTube's been pushing me this new app for kids.
Yep.
You heard about this?
Yeah, YouTube Kids.
So they're going to make a switch.
Yeah, so I guess it's specifically designed for. Netflix have these, like it's so you don't go from watching a kids TV show to watching Jackass.
Yeah, and so, on aeroplanes, if you get onto the kids mode, you have to use 2 buttons to get out of it. I had to help the lady next to me on the way back from Singapore.
Really?
She was stuck in there, and I was like, I've been there. Sweetheart, here you go. Did it. She's like,
Did you say don't call me sweetheart?
She slapped me. I had to move.
I feel like you don't call anyone sweetheart.
So the bottom line,
she was a sweethearted person though. If you would ever call someone a sweetheart, it's her.
My mum would be the type to say, "Don't call me sweetheart." I reckon. She hates anyone that at a Dahl or anything at a
thanks,
cafe.
Dahl.
Thanks, sweetie. Darling.
Yeah,
Dahl.
I mean, thanks.
What about
darling.
older women that say it?
I think
when
that
older
my
woman
mum
calls you Dahl or.
I don't mind at all, but I think my mum's like a bit don't Dahl me. It's almost like don't bro me till you know me.
When young women, I've had it at a cafe, where it's like it's really disruptive because it's usually comes from an older person.
They say Dahl, yeah.
So, I've been called darling by a younger woman. I was like,
how did it make you feel?
It's a bit tingly. I was a bit, caught off guard. Nah.
I'm going to close that loop though.
Yeah, go for it.
With the YouTube thing, the new rules if it's for kids or they deem it for kids and there's a lot of hype going on, a lot of hysteria. A lot of people are making great content and getting a lot of downloads with the hysteria, right? So they're tapping.
Yeah, I mean, look at that.
This guy Leonhardt just put one out as a with an excerpt.
Why are you pointing like that?
At Mr. 97.
Oh, sorry.
Wants him to pull it up.
The the Leonhardt guy, he
But
just
is-
released a video explaining it all, right? So he's
For kids, or is this one for parents?
no
like a kid's
for,
watching
for
this-
content creators. That's what I'm talking about.
So has he got a
released-
content creator channel, or this
he's
is on
just
the kids'
one
channel?
off. Everyone's doing one off explaining it all because
On his own channel.
on his own channel.
It's like going to
as a
watch
grown-up.
Blue's Clues, then all of a sudden getting some real serious. He
look,
ended up being.
I
a
want to
bit,
discuss management
Yeah.
here at Blue's Clues. There's a bit going on.
Yeah, the mail's been very slow.
Imagine all
so
the
he
kids
got
watching.
on-
Can you find that video? I really want to watch it later. Mr. 97, the one where he's explaining
You don't
what,
need to
what
do
the
that now.
changes.
Don't do it.
See if there's comments. See if see if they've got comments activated, and if anyone's activated saying off-brand, dude.
Yeah,
So basically, when it's for kids, there's no comments. You know the drill. There's no comments and there's no targeted advertising. So they're estimating to drop their revenue by 85%.
85%.
Hang on, what?
85%.
The revenue of the creator.
The creators' revenue.
What about Google? Not
No,
Google.
no.
You don't have to worry about YouTube. They're okay. But the
I'm worried
targeted,
about it.
targeted ads aren't possible to protect the children, so they're not targeted
Yeah,
with
yeah.
ads.
I mentioned Jackass. Did you ever watch Jackass back in the day?
No.
Bum
Why?
No,
fights.
I saw the ads for it. I saw that. That's pretty
Bum
controversial.
fights. You saw that. It was
Yeah,
all
I saw-
like
someone showed me that once.
it was all downloading through. The one became really famous. Rufus,
Like a specific person.
a specific homeless person.
Well, this is the
became
problem.
the king of bum fights.
This is what
I think.
is the crazy thing. The bagel guy has a bit of that. So
Who's that?
The bagel guy is the guy who is like very, very short, and he was in a bagel shop and he had a fight, and so
And he got angry. Yeah,
he
he's
got
a real
angry, and so he was
dude.
trying to get people to fight him. Like there seems to be a big culture at the moment of like boxing fights.
There's a lot of money in it. Look at Logan Paul, KSI. They had like an unbelievably huge turnout to the Staples Center, which is where the NBA goes
Yeah.
down. It's like big concerts go down. They filled the joint.
Wow.
Rick Ross. There was like who else was there? It's huge.
What sort of fighting is
like
it?
actual celebs outside of
Is
YouTube
it boxing?
stars.
It's boxing, yeah.
It's boxing.
Are you into boxing or no?
I went to the boxing when I was a kid. It was all Muhammad Ali, and it was huge. It wasn't there wasn't any judgment or anything. It
Would you
was
watch it on TV?
Yeah, we did. We and even when I was about 18, everyone would gather in pubs to watch a big heavyweight title fight.
Rumble
imagine
in the Jungle. What year was that?
I don't know. That was back before me.
Yeah, so you're not that old.
But all that, nah, I'm very quite young. But
I'm very quite young.
but I had nothing to do with boxing until recently. I went to the big stadium. What's it called? Not Palladium.
Marvel?
No. There's a boxing place, like a boxing arena.
Oh,
the
really?
Pavilion, it's called. I think they use it for weddings and stuff as well. But it's like the sons of Lester Ellis run a gym, Ellis Gym. And they're the people that go and train there. Like my mate, he went to do it for weight loss and health.
Is this 97? Is this where we went and saw PJ?
No.
I feel like that place would do weddings.
No, but this place is way bigger. It's called the Melbourne Pavilion.
Okay. What suburb?
Kensington.
Yeah.
Kensington.
Okay.
And it is
Yeah.
amazing. It's like walking into another world.
And do you feel like you leave there wanting to start a fight?
No.
Okay.
I thought that. I thought, oh, geez, this is going to be interesting because I used to go to the first couple of motorcycle Grand Prix I went to on Phillip Island.
You get a
before they
bit silly
took it to another state.
when you drive home. You get a bit.
And I saw people, there wasn't much policing and stuff, but I saw it was Armageddon out there on the streets. It was like Mad Max 3. People just went mental because they were fired up. They saw people racing and they really fired up.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, Christ, what's it going to be like in a boxing pavilion with every bogan from every suburb all gathered together to see their friends, and stuff, including myself.
It's probably the one place. I mean, yeah, you do hear of fights.
They're
The
pretty good,
bikies
though.
have fought. I've seen, you can look on YouTube, bikies fighting, like shootouts at boxing matches in Melbourne. Remember that? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Was it the Hells Angels dude? He's now in jail for a long
Yeah,
time.
don't mention that.
Yeah. It's full on. But it was very clean. It was, yeah. I mean, there's fuckwits trying to fight who probably can't fight at a boxing match like that.
This was amazing because they had all the people that go to the gym. Like my mate had been going to the gym for maybe a year. I don't know. Sorry.
A long
mate.
time.
A long
Actually,
time. Not
2nd
that
of January,
long.
I
Not
need
that
to
long.
cancel mine.
But he'd gone. He dropped.
I'll remind you.
You know you can cancel
Thank
it now, dude.
He dropped
You
40
reckon?
kilos.
You can just shut it off and say I don't want to pay by the end of the. You could call now. You could preempt it.
Oh, and just pay the difference and then finish it?
Yeah. Anyway,
Get a lawyer.
Have you had any
Get
gym
Leonard.
membership? I feel like you would have had
I've
gym
had
membership.
several gym memberships. I had my first one. I'd love to talk about this Boxing Day, but we'll talk about it later.
no.
My first gym
No, finish your boxing story.
Oh, I can't remember it. It was a very exciting night, but it was emotional because these dudes and girls were getting up, having a crack in front of all their friends, and there's a thing where they all have to sell tickets and stuff. It's like school concert kind of thing.
Yeah, but you punch your heads in.
But and the heart is amazing to get up there and have a crack in the techniques and basically getting punched against each other.
It's scary.
So
It was awesome. Just
gym memberships.
the gym membership. I joined a gym with my mate, and I was probably a kind of a bit of an over the top 78 kilos or something like that. I was like, oh, we're getting a bit flabby, mate.
Over
And
the
so-
top 78, does that mean you're 78 kilos over what you should
No,
be?
I was 78 kilos.
Okay, sure.
So we were like puny guys, and we decided to get some muscles, and we joined this gym in Lilydale, and we went along. And
What year was this?
can we just say 89?
Mhm.
Yep. So
30 years ago.
is it?
Well, I'm 88, 31, and I'm
Well, I
31
bulked up
years
then. It
old.
worked.
Yeah.
So,
Been up the protein
so
ever
me and
since.
him, we're like Mr. Puniverse, and we're doing everything they told us to do. And we're, oh, push.
Yeah, yeah.
And we laughed because the other guys, you could hear them going, come on, mate, push. Do you want to get big or not? Come on. We were talking to each other, and this gym culture was pretty fascinating to us. And we were doing that. We weren't kind of laughing at it. We were just going, oh, that's what
Did
you
you
do.
have personal
Come on, mate.
trainers?
No.
How did you
There
know
wasn't
what
such
to
a
do?
thing.
How did you know what to do?
No, the people come and tell you what to do and write it down on a list. Then you go around with your piece of paper and you do everything that it says. So then we're going, oh, we look at each other going, wow, he just got very
Actually, it's not. When someone,
It's a skill.
when someone grabs your arm,
What does that mean? He just said, oh, when I did it. What do you think? Not good?
No, well, you did it too. I didn't think
Yeah.
you would. I thought you'd leave it relaxed.
the trick is to
Be
get it
comfortable
before
in
they
your own
grab
body.
it. But like, it's nothing. There's nothing impressive about grabbing a unflexed arm.
Anyway, it wasn't about Tom's arm. It was about we were going, whoa, and we were,
Gotcha. I did it second time. Got him before he grabbed it. Flex before
and
I
we were
grabbed.
like feeling so buff and sweaty and everything. We walked into the changing room, and I was like, it was like, get our towels, and we're all kind of
what
feeling
were you
super
doing?
buff. And you know who walked in?
Who?
A guy called Dave Russell. Go for it, 97s. And he was, I don't know what his position was at the time, but I think he was like, the heavyweight champion or
Boxing.
something. Boxing
Yeah,
champion.
yeah.
And he was,
Just
he
ginormous.
was like a statue. And we both just shrank back into ourselves.
Dude, you
and
can
ran away,
always
never went back.
train. You got to train with people who are so much fitter or stronger, or bigger than you. Like I used to train with bodybuilders, and I was such a little twerp. But then I train with my mates, and I'm like, I'm a 6C, and so you'd feel bigger.
Found anything on him?
Yeah, he's a professional boxer.
Does he look big?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a 40% KO
Oh,
rate.
heavyweight.
Not good.
No, that's
know.
great.
No,
He
that's-
KOs people 40%
40%
of the time.
That means that 60% of the time he doesn't.
No, it just means you can win a fight.
you
So
can
it's
still
his
win. It
win.
doesn't have
So
to
how
be
many
a
wins
KO.
has he had in his career? What's his career?
Does that mean he's been
Stats.
KO'd 60%?
No. It just means, so you go, I've won 16 fights. 8 of them have
Sure.
been
I
via
understand
KO,
Mhm.
blah, blah, blah.
How often, what's the stats on KOs versus points? Like
It depends on the fighter. Mayweather has never, I don't think, knocked out anybody.
I mean, in general, in the whole world of boxing, is it like
Depends on the
20%
league.
of fights
The
are KO?
featherweight stuff, you're not really getting
You haven't got
knockouts.
enough. What,
UFC is a different ball game because they're just fighting without gloves on.
All right, here's a riddle for you. What weighs more? This is for Tommy. A kilogram of feathers or a kilogram of bricks?
Same.
Good one.
It's not a
I
riddle.
tried
That's
this on my
a,
son Tom, and he went
What did he say?
same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He didn't say
Fortunately, my
bricks.
daughter butted in, going, Breaks.
Yeah.
Kids these days, we were reading an article about the sex recession. Have you heard about this?
I don't know what that is.
So
you just said kids these days and then
kids
started
these
talking
days.
about sex.
so young people, like people 97's age, aren't having sex.
Yeah, I sort of noticed that.
Mr. 97, pull up
They're
some
not putting
stats
out-
around this. Like, what's going on? What do you find when you search that? It's it's a funny one because if you think about it, what has changed over the last 30 years? You could say we're all a bit more woke.
iPhones.
iPhones are more information. So are we scared off from doing things like having emotional connection with people? So sexual.
Did you see a transition?
connection?
Did you see a transition from, say, the 90s to the 2000s in regards to people's willingness to have sex?
You're talking about a bunch of kids that feel like they've been violated when you ring them on the phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's I think Tom's right. I think it's like, my God, actually, I'm not showing them my cock.
So you think that people like
Whereas it used to be the disco. Now they've got Tinder so they can get on and
Yeah.
internet, even, what's Face Tinder? Facebook, right?
I wonder.
You can just,
I wonder if there's, say, people can fall in love with falling in love. So you go, what I actually desire is that chase, the love bit, which isn't necessarily the intercourse part.
well, you
So-
romanticize the love, yeah.
Exactly. So it's the chase, right? So you're getting these micro fulfillment through things like Tinder and the response in the message, and then it's like working it out, and then it sort of fucking all falls
What's the
apart.
hype? There's something fun, like from the entrepreneurial point of view, it's fun, trademarks and setting up businesses and doing all these sorts of things,
Yeah.
and then you actually have to like do the work. Is
Mr.
that
Nice
what
says-
sex?
Yeah. What do you find? Read this out.
So the the decline in sexual frequency coincided with two events, the introduction of the iPhone in 2007
Yeah, spot on.
and the GFC.
I mean,
Shouldn't that be more sex?
2015? When was that? 2015?
2008.
2008.
Sorry,
And
2008.
so in Australia,
Your GFC was tweeted.
Yeah, no, definitely there and now, but
Between
also
everything.
that was because Mum and Dad sold the house the week before the GFC.
Oh, that's
but 2008. Fuck,
Was it
that
that
was a long,
specific?
it's a long time
was the
ago, dude.
GFC so that
Stock
specific?
market. The stock
Yeah,
market.
sure.
So you wake up Monday morning and it's just the Dow Jones.
Have you
Whatever
ever
it
bought
is.
stocks in your life?
yes.
What's the like?
I bought I got the ComSec thing. I went, I'll do that. And
that
then
like
I
Telstra?
can have some
Yeah.
stuff. And they went, oh, you have to like lay down $5,000 to start. And I went, oh, fuck that. But I still get a report for my zero ComSec account.
Yeah.
So what? So ComSec, okay, is the account
Commonwealth
you
Bank.
need to be able to trade.
I don't know.
Yeah. You could set up a ComSec account. I remember that.
It's a Commonwealth Bank thing.
Yeah.
But
then you
I
can
got
buy
another one.
stocks.
Because
You can do it
ANZ
now.
has like an exchange. Because I do wonder, it's like if you want to 97. Do you know anything about this? Like I've heard, by the way, multiple people have been saying that this idea about your super, the 50% super, not a good idea.
I know, I'm getting
I
a
was
lot
talk-
of that.
I was speaking to Rob Ward from Quadlock.
Yeah.
He was like, mate, that's going to be worth nothing.
The fucked up bit is barefoot investor who people listen to. They would probably listen to them over their own parent, which is probably a good idea.
Yeah, but
Most parents
do
have
you know
no
what?
idea.
You've got, number one, my instinct is like, I got to shake that kid. What a dickhead. Like the future, you'll be older and sicker and miserable with more responsibility and less time and just spend the money now, have a good time. But then I think, what makes you happy? And if putting fucking 50% and doing some nonsensical vibe makes him happy, if it settles down some anxiety in the back of his brain so he can continue living, then fucking go for it.
I think,
I mean,
Still
how
a
does that make
dickhead. Go for it,
I
being a
don't know if
dickhead.
that's
Financial advice and security.
Have a good time all the time.
yeah.
I mean, super for a lot of people.
In Australia, it's 9% of your wage is forced savings.
So is it 401k? Is that what they call it in the US?
Yeah, I think you have to. It's a very.
Well, it's an
sounds a
opt-in.
bit messy.
It's more
an
opt-in.
This is compulsory for businesses who people are on PAYG employed. The employer needs to pay set 9%.
So there's 9%. So 97, your idea is that by putting in more
Earlier on.
but also like even going back on like the timing thing, you can put additional funds over the compulsory 9%.
Yep.
What's that called again? That's called contributions.
Salary sacrificing.
Yeah.
Sacrificing.
And so by we need to get BK talking about this because he's in salary sacrificing as well. So the idea is that you can put in up to how many percent that is not taxed.
So it's you can only put a maximum of $25,000, I think.
$25,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Per year.
Yeah.
Away to superannuation.
Yeah.
Without getting taxed.
No. It gets taxed at like 15%.
Yeah,
but you're only allowed to contribute to your super voluntarily up to $25,000.
And so $25,000, is that on top of the 9%?
No, I think that's inclusive of the 9%.
So 25, have you done the maths on 25 grand? What's a normal tax bracket? 30%?
Yeah, 32 and a half, I think it is.
So if it's 30% and you're paying 15% over 25 grand, how much cash extra are you getting technically saving from tax?
Yeah, I had it all down in an Evernote sheet. I don't know where it is, but I am saving money.
You're saving money for 45 years' time.
Because that's one of the deals.
But I'm also paying less tax. My taxable income is less than what it would be, and I'm paying less tax on it.
Well, that's the point of that 15%, right?
Yeah.
Hang on. You said it was limited to 25Ks a year.
Yeah. Say you earn 100 grand, you can only put $25,000 of your own.
How
money.
are you putting 50% of your wage in?
Do the maths. He doesn't earn that much.
He doesn't earn 100 grand yet.
No, but you guys are putting in 9%,
and so you.
Are we doing? You tell me. He puts in 50. Do you put in 50%?
Put it this way:
9%.
every fortnight, his super contribution is double what Josh and ours is combined. So that's like a hard
so
cost.
it's not. Is it 50% or is it not? Did we make that up?
Of what?
Your salary. Do you
Yes.
take 50%?
No, it's 50%. Yeah.
Well, you can work out how much he's on now. You've just given that away.
That's okay.
Sam Kavanagh wanted to know anyway. We'll send a snippet to Sam Kavanagh.
At least it stops me from blowing out my offer when I go to poaching.
Hey,
We've had a few of them.
Gypsy Tales wanted to poach him. Or asked if he had a brother or a twin.
What is your thoughts on finance?
Yeah, just one thing.
Yeah,
I want to take this to a darker place.
Oh, great.
The superannuation stuff, Mum and Dad were telling me, speaking to their financial guy, it was a fucked up thing when you pass away. Inheritance can be taxed heavily.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're waiting on a nest egg of 500 grand from your parents that have that, it can be taxed at fucking 20 or 30% or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
There is these mini loopholes where you can shift money out of your super account into something else and then back in, and you lose that charge of tax. It's bizarre. Anyway, the will stuff, writing a will.
Mm-hmm.
When I was stripping, I flew up to Sydney to go on that tour through New Zealand. I was 19 and there were some quirky characters coming on that trip. And one of them, Braden, I wonder what Braden's up to. He was like, if we were like the B side, as we got called, as in like they'd taken the shit guys to New Zealand.
Sure.
He was in the Z side. He wasn't it. Like,
so you were B?
Oh, compared to him, I was A. Like his rig was so sloppy. It's like I think what happened was one guy pulled out. They were like, this guy.
Is there something funny in that as well?
There's something really funny. But what it played into was this character.
Maybe I could do some funny stripping.
It was so funny. It was good bloke, bit weird. But I remember I'd met him for the first time. I flew up to Sydney, fresh, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed. He takes me in the car. We drive into Bondi Junction from the burbs, and he's like, I've got to go sort my will out. He was like 23. He's like, yeah, I got to told my missus I'd do it.
What's he got planned?
I don't know. It was all a bit weird to me, but he's 23. It's probably more something we should be doing now. What do you think about the will stuff? Have you?
Every time these things come up, like tax returns, superannuation, will,
they're compulsory every year, bro.
Yeah,
a little panic attack. Yeah. I don't have a will.
You don't
I
have
don't
a
have
will.
any super.
Well, I mean, that's
I
what
have a
happens
tax
when you're
return.
self-employed. You're being self-employed
yeah.
and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
You have a house though.
Yeah, I've got everything's cool. But
Well, I mean, no. So like, I'm just trying to some people would be like, that's the dumbest thing that's the dumbest thing to not have super. I mean, some
It's
people would say
crazy,
that.
yeah. It is the dumbest
But
thing.
you're going to work forever.
But you run a business and you run a business for 10 years and you go, all right, I'll sort that out later. And then you're 30 and then you run another business for 8 years and then you go, I'll sort that out later when I make a profit. What technically with hindsight, you should have that dripping away because you can't get it back.
It is a
out.
pain in the ass though. I never used to pay myself super until
I
now.
never have, yeah.
And it costs a lot of money.
I mean, yeah.
And so
Ask Mr. 97.
but it'll be good in the future. I guess.
No, it's all good. If everything goes to shit, right, we've at least got some superannuation.
No. Who's got that money?
No, when
Personally,
we're
you
older.
mean?
I mean, here's the fucked up bit.
Personally,
The pension. If you're relying entirely on the pension, it's a hard fucking existence moving forward when you're old.
If the Liberal government have their way and continue to have their way, you may as well just fucking walk off a cliff when you're old.
Wait,
Those arseholes.
you are encouraging people to kill themselves.
No, I have not.
It's
Off that little cliff down onto the beach at Rosebud and have a lovely swim. What do you think I'm talking about?
Yeah, and maybe not come back.
So
I
do you
get
have
your
a
point.
super account? Like have you got any, you got something or no? Not at all?
There would have been one from the 80s when I had a job.
It'd be gone now.
No.
I thought they stayed
Why don't you
forever.
why don't you consolidate
I
them?
will. I'll
but
consolidate
you've got to
my $3,000.
There has to be
But
something
say
in
if he
there.
had $1,000 in there and it's been like, he might be like, oh fuck, that's turned into $100,000. Probably not.
No, the point of having
Probably turned into 1,100.
the point. If you have a super account that doesn't have any money going into it for many, many years, the whole
no
thing is
interest.
that it'll be eaten up by the account fees. That's the whole
Really?
thing about consolidating your super. If you leave one over here and it's got $200 in it in 20 years, there'll be a lot of it eaten up by the account fee. If it's a $10, $5 a year account fee over 20 years,
They're usually about, I think they're like $80 a year or
yeah,
something.
your money's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's why I have one that keeps getting the drip because then it can actually.
Anyway, it's on my list for in the new year.
It is the most. Have you got a
Business is
MyGov?
booming, and I'm just yeah.
So
I'm
then
gonna
it's actually it's fair. It's real simple.
Host Plus is
Oh
good.
yeah. So when you join up,
I was going to say who
go with Host Plus.
Okay.
I mean,
Can we
just
have a
'cause we're with
referral
them.
link or
Do you
something?
get $100 credit?
Mate,
at
I wish.
the donut
Imagine
shop?
Barefoot's referral.
Imagine if Barefoot got a fucking referral
I
link
heard
for
he was getting
ING.
paid by ING. That's not true. He hates that.
That's the
classic
one
shtick.
question is like, yeah, anything you recommend, people think you're getting paid. for
One
recommending.
criticism I have of ING, they've got a new ad at the moment out. Have you seen it, 97?
No.
It's got the lady with the red hair. She's an actor, I think, and she's like plays
You
this
think?
plays this sort of outrageous character. I think she's a famous actor. I think that's the shtick.
Oh, is it the woman who?
Isla Fisher.
Oh, it's Isla Fisher. You know who that is? Sacha Baron Cohen.
Really?
That's his wife.
Oh, amazing. Well, anyway, what I don't like about that ad is she pops balloons. She's going around with balloons and she's popping them. And if we know anything, having been to Phillip Island, penguins.
Oh,
The balloons, I don't do
Yeah.
any balloons anymore.
Dude,
I don't like balloons.
I mean, did we get called out for a audio carbon emission?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, we didn't get called out. Someone said, no, you guys should focus on the audio rather than video because the carbon emission is lower on audio than video.
What does that mean?
Because
Can we check any fucking rationale behind
yeah,
that?
well, because
Well, because you
They're
think about
using
it,
the
you have
video-
to, you have
using-
to process. YouTube has to process the video, and so they encode it, and that takes up server resources, which means they have to use energy to do it. So
Who said that?
I don't know,
Yeah.
but you're using your carbon footprint for Pokemon cards.
that's why I'm offended.
Oh, there's always. I saw an article that was like
That's really upset you, hasn't it?
I just went blank.
child labour in the fields to power your electric vehicle.
Say that again.
It was something like the headline was child labour in the fields to power your so you can drive your electric vehicle, which I didn't quite get. I just read the headline.
What can we do? Like, I guess the issue with all of this stuff is what options do we have? It seems like there's so many gotchas.
One step at a time and ignore those fuckers, right? This is the thing. I got an e-bike,
Here we go.
right? Started commuting every day from Preston to Collingwood, round 18 kilometres a day altogether, right? And you know what they said?
What?
You still have to burn brown coal to charge that thing up.
Burn
I've turned
brown
into
coal.
that other guy from YouTube. Anyway,
Which one?
Brown coal. That's like that. We've got the most disgusting, filthy way of generating electricity. Brown coal in Victoria. Right. It's disgraceful.
Compared to brown coal versus, are there other colours?
Yeah. There's blue coal, pink coal.
Is there really?
No. Sorry. There's black coal and brown coal. Apologize.
Well, there's two coals.
Yeah, and what is the
What's the
difference?
difference between brown and black
Browns are dirty. It's dirty coal.
compared to black?
You've got me there. I've got no idea. But
Yeah.
people say brown coal is the dirtiest way of generating
But
electricity.
is there a difference between black and brown coal?
I assume there is. Yeah.
97, can you look? I just feel like coal's coal.
So brown coal is classified as a low rank coal because it has high ash and moisture content and less carbon, which means it produces less energy when it's heated. Whereas black coal has more carbon, less ash and less moisture, which means it has a higher energy content.
Where do we get black coal from?
The
I thought
ground. It all
coal
comes
was
from the
bad.
ground.
Yeah, no, but surely there's
We've got brown
there's a
coal
reason why
here.
we were doing brown. So in Victoria,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
find brown coal.
The power stations are built next to where the coal is, so they dig it out and burn
Yeah.
it. Right. Anyway, the point was that people go, yeah, but you still have to charge it up, and that's brown coal. So I did the maths. I said, all right, and unfortunately I did the maths on my Toyota van that I was driving at the time.
and not your super.
I didn't do the
Yeah. That math's
Sorry.
coming.
no financial maths. And I did the maths and I went, right, oh my God. And it was like, okay, for me to commute in my van, it's 46 cubic meters of greenhouse emissions or something like that.
46 cubic meters.
Something like
For
that.
your van.
Yeah. Just to commute to work and back, right? Something like that. Look it up, 97.
How was he looking? What do you want him to Google?
Yeah.
No, it's just a joke. So then I calculated how much, emissions would be on producing the electricity to charge my bike battery.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was like this much.
Are you doing something with your hands?
I am doing. I'm doing like
20 centimetre by 20
probably-
centimetre cube.
yeah.
That's how much carbon. Yeah, it's
A
interesting.
little bit.
Then
So-
you've got battery stuff. Like I wonder, like how do you get rid of batteries? I wonder that. Like Bree and I replaced our Dyson vacuum battery, and it's just sitting next to our bin because I don't know what
It's
to do with
lithium
it.
ion.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that. You can't just piff it.
Why not?
I don't know. They can go on fire and stuff like that.
Batteries?
Yeah.
Lithium ion batteries.
It's because there's battery acid in it, which is toxic.
So what do I do with it?
If you take it to Aldi, they've got battery
What if it's
recycling.
a big battery?
Take it to Officeworks.
Maybe
I
Officeworks.
feel like that's the classic answer, but do you actually know if they accept them? Mobile phones, they do, right?
How big's the battery? What is it from?
A Dyson. You weren't listening. It was from a Dyson.
it wasn't. I was Googling emissions.
You know what? So Boosted Board didn't have. So Boosted Board, the electric skateboard company that's from the United States, they couldn't release their boards in Australia or ship them here because they didn't have a battery disposable plan. And so I'm sure Dyson vacuums have a battery disposable plan within Australia.
that's
So
good.
you can find out how you.
Can you find out, 97, how to get rid of my V6 Dyson?
They probably set up
housekeeping.
stations. I mean, like Harvey Norman.
I've got one from a laptop sitting on my mantelpiece.
What do you think of Harvey
for a
Norman,
year.
Derek?
I don't know what to. They can get.
Why can they get fucked? What's up? Now go.
Okay, so I'm on it. This is going to take a little while. I've
right.
got a. I'm in the process of experimenting with using PTZ cameras.
Yep.
Now you know.
Do you know what?
they are,
Pan,
they are.
tilt, zoom cameras.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
like
so-
the security looking cameras.
Yeah, because I don't have a 97. So the idea is my studio have a couple of those, and they can zoom in on the different guests and take the video. Right, they can switch between them and move them around. And the main thing is they can zoom in, so that with optical zoom, so you can get a full res picture of someone without the camera being right in front of their face.
Yeah, they're great. It worked perfectly.
I love them. Right, so there's pro ones there for anything anywhere between $3,500 to $10,000 sort of thing
Per camera.
per camera.
What's the big company that does it? Is it Optic something?
There's PTZ Optics. There's
Bird Dog.
Yeah, Bird Dog.
Bird Dog, I think, look like are going to be the best ones.
Mate, they're our homies
They're
from
from
Collingwood.
Yeah, they're from Collingwood.
Have
which
they
is
come
amazing.
in yet or no? To your office, the second time to show you or no?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
So,
First, let me slander
Okay,
Harvey
we're right at
Norman.
the beginning. We're right at the beginning of the story.
Sorry.
So I Logitech do one. They do two. They do one PTZ Pro 2 Pro, I would suggest maybe taking that name off the box for a start. And they're just USB. So it's like a web. They're for
Conference calls.
Stuff like that. So people can just plug them into their laptop and off they go. But they have a little remote. But it was like when it was moving around, it was juddering and changing speed, and it wouldn't stay focused.
It's like someone took it to the beach.
It was just shit
Sand,
straight out of the box. Yeah, and I was pretty annoyed. And
So this is from Harvey Norman.
Days. Get this, Harvey Norman. I said this to a salesman yesterday. Right? Maybe I'll go. But it's not fair because I'm not having a go at the store. I'm having a go at their online system.
Which store was it though?
It was in Preston, which I love. I've spent maybe $100,000 in there over the last few years.
$100,000 at Harvey Norman.
Well, everyone has.
No.
Everyone spent $100,000 in Preston.
I was wondering where the super went.
Over 12 years or something, you're going to get a fridge. You're going to get a computer. All my computers.
Are you still paying it off?
How many screens have you got? How many TV screens you got at home?
No, just
4K TV every room, including the bathroom.
But it's just like if you need a new fridge, then I just go in and get it from there, right? So
do you do like the
I do
what
always
we do
tell
for
them.
cash?
I always bust their balls. Yeah.
Okay, so you've got this salesman yesterday.
No, I said to him, I was trying to work out a clever thing to say, like a live
metaphor
meme, right, coming at you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
I said to him, I imagined that Harvey Norman as an entity would take this online thing by the scruff of the neck and run with it and be the best and also have the showrooms and therefore just be the kings. But it looks to me like a bunch of dinosaurs that are running, you see the comet coming towards Earth and are running, going, let's watch it from Yellowstone Park. It'll be much better view there. It looks like you're running towards doom. 17 days to get an online purchase delivered, a box that big.
How did you say this to the salesperson? Were you in store or?
Yeah, he was where you were.
They were both on the recliner chairs.
I think I'm relaxed enough, to be honest with you. No, I was just trying it out. I wasn't being aggressive.
How old was
I wasn't
this
being aggressive
young
to him.
bloke?
I was just,
This fella?
it was nothing to do with him. I just said it just feels like.
No, I get it, but I think
you're
that's
working
going
for
to
a dinosaur.
resonate. Like, who are you? Are you talking to a young person? It sounds like you're
He was probably 35. So
It's a young person. What are you fucking talking about?
But anyway, the point was I was frustrated.
That it took 17
It took
days.
17 days for the item to arrive. Then I've spent a week toing and froing with Logitech. They can also get fucked, right? I spent a week talking to Logitech online and they were great. I've never had, it's like instant response, chit chat,
But they can get fucked.
And I sent him a video
That
of
was
what
a
was
weird
going
one.
on.
He just gave him a compliment and negged them.
No,
at the same
they
time.
were. You missed the were. They were great. So this guy was great. And he's helping me out and he's going, nah, you're right. Shit's fucked, right? It's
that
no good.
exactly what he said?
He said something like that, but he said, we're going to send, definitely. We'll fill in this form with the serial number off the unit and your name and address. We're going to send you a new one right away. Expedite was his word.
Yeah.
Bam. I'm going, you beauty. That's nice to get some good service.
Well, because I spoke to you about it and you were pumped because you were saying that the idea was that you'd potentially be able to keep the shit unit so you could just keep that static.
And use it as a 30% of its function in the corner as a second one.
Nah, they're on to you.
They're not on to me. But he replied the next day going, oh, sorry, didn't realise you're in Australia. Fuck off.
Those exact words.
No, not those exact words.
You're like my wife. Tells me a story. Tells me what she's thinking, not saying.
He said you're going to have to take it back to where you bought it. So I went. That's when
Harvey Norman.
had to take the morning off to get to Harvey Norman during
See your
opening hours.
35-year-old.
And they
Young bloke.
ummed and ahed, and half an hour later they said, "No, you have to go away with it and deal with it online."
Hang on, wait. So you couldn't get a refund?
Not in a store. They said, "Oh, we're different. We're franchised." And
Hang on. So you bought it through Harvey Norman, and they would.
Online, yeah.
That's. I mean,
It's
that's
a
no
bit.
good.
It's not
They
the
took
worst thing in the world
17 days
to deliver.
and then you've fucking taken it. What do they want you to do? They're going to have to send you a box to put it in. Like you're not fucking paying for the mail to get it back.
It's not paying for the mail. It's walking
It's the
to
admin.
the fucking
Post office. No, I get it.
I hate that. I hate when people just go, just send it back.
Well, this is the
Like
problem
here,
with
oh,
New
sorry, your
Balance.
scooter engine didn't work. Send it back.
Well, this is so.
No, Mr. 97 put in a thing for our hard drive to get replaced. He went.
That
and
was
bought-
great. Samsung.
No, but you went and bought a bag
and then
and
they
sent
gave
it
one
off
to you.
in But then they sent a bag.
Yeah.
But
So they were doing the right thing. You
Yeah.
just preempted the bag not being delivered.
New Balance was doing a Black Friday sale yesterday, and Bree said, you should order some shoes. And she's like, hang on, what happened to your last shoes? So my last shoes were broken. 97 back in March sent them back. Like they said, we'll do an exchange or whatever. He sent them back. But the thing was, this is the one trick. I emailed them probably November, December last year. And so there was 4 months between me sending that email, them saying, yeah, send it in, and then
So they've
97
they've
sent
just
it.
got sent a smelly pair of shoes, and they're like, "Who the fuck's are these?"
But
No, because we redid the
comfort.
order. We redid the return. So you just got an email back from them saying, oh yeah, you got to send them in. Make sure you apply for a return form. And so we applied for one and we sent it back in.
And so, 97 sent my shoes, and I never got a replacement. I'm going to contact them.
It's a great
about
idea.
So you forgot.
I emailed them as well, though. Who forgot? They forgot.
Somebody forgot.
How does a company just forget?
No, but you forgot as well.
I didn't forget. They didn't say.
It's been bugging you since March.
They didn't say. Yeah, well, the thing is, there's no timeline on these things.
Yeah, true.
And so I'm like, April. Maybe they take 2 months.
It's
May,
amazing you haven't had a pair of shoes since. Like you've been walking around barefoot.
No,
It's
I forgot my ASIC, but I actually need
But do you want New Balance now? Like they're inferior to ASICs. Yeah.
Very true.
free. You
I've
want
been
free
looking at
New Balance.
ASICs
That'd be
now.
good.
They're
because
so
of you.
good. These are Kayanos.
I see the types of people that wear the ASICs.
What's
They're
the
kind
type?
they're kind of the trend, aren't they? They're
Really?
kind of the cool shoe.
No, there's just a lot of people who've given up. I think that's what you're
Give it
saying.
up what?
I think they're very
On
cool.
any sense of fashion.
No, I think it's good.
Or you're
Are
a
they the ones
billionaire
with
like
the four lines?
Seinfeld.
Yeah,
to sit?
tell me one other person who's.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
No,
What's that? That's not an ASICs.
Yeah, it's an ASIC.
That's an ASICS.
Oh, that's not the cool one that I've been.
What?
No,
Oh,
yeah,
you mean
cool.
Adidas?
Oh, that's cool. No.
Yeah, Adidas
You know,
are very
ASICS
cool. at the
shoes. They're
moment.
very low. They're like athletic shoes.
You mean
like
Adidas.
a Puma.
Adidas have come back in hard.
Don't ever mention Puma. What's wrong with Puma?
What did they do to you?
I don't know. Puma. I haven't heard anyone mention Puma.
Puma's
Or
the
Kappa?
ASICs of
What
the
about
tomorrow.
Kappa?
I've never
Kappa
even heard
making
of-
a comeback.
The only John Capra I know is John.
Yeah, Kappa. The only Kappa you know is John.
I fucked it.
Because he said it straight up. All right, boys. Happy weekend banter. Derek, I love having you on the show. You're an exceptional human. We haven't done a moment of gratitude for Scooter Derek.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing, when we first met you were in another field. I just love how you just navigate your way. You're resourceful and you find ways to do shit. You're tech savvy. But at the same time, you're like a great blend of old school, new school. You're an old school dude embracing new school harder than others.
I love it.
Look at him.
Wasted on young people, this shit. It
Oh,
really
he
is.
appreciates the new school more
Do
than us.
you know he bought a G4 computer, like an Apple computer? That would have been, what year would that have been? 2003 or 2004?
maybe 90.
Yeah, because no, but
99. He bought, so, Casey Neistat talks about, I got my Final Cut Pro.
oh, yeah, he pulls it down from the
No,
fucking.
the same fucking year, Derek was making videos for his local bowls club on, was it iMovie or Final Cut?
whatever was on it. I don't think
iMovie
I never
would have
heard
been.
of it. No. It was Final Cut Pro.
Yeah,
Two.
but then
Final
what
Cut
impresses
Pro
me most is
In
the fact that
1999.
it's ridiculous. The fact that he could build an engine from the ground up. Like you're resourceful, like you're an old school man with the modern day man.
How important are pistons to a motor?
Well, without it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
but then
'cause-
without nearly everything in a motor, it wouldn't
Well, because
work.
Tommy was saying the other day that
No, I'm saying it had nothing to do with the fucking story I
you
was telling.
thought the automotive class you were doing was dumb because they were talking about pistons and you thought it wasn't relevant.
Are the pistons are the ones that come up and down. Is
I
that to
didn't
let
even, did
oil
I even
through?
say
Is
that
what
though?
it
Did
is?
I say that they were
97,
talking about pistons?
Did he say that?
Did I actually say they were talking about pistons?
Yeah, they were talking about pistons.
Can you bring up go into Otter and type in
Yeah, yeah,
pistons?
Yeah, but it's more.
If you're in a class and they're trying to teach you about basic maintenance of a car, then they could, I'd say 30 seconds on pistons would do it. Just to let you know what it is, just in case you're curious.
You need
But
lubricant.
if you change
A piston going up
if
and
you're
down.
working on a piston, you're in the guts of the engine.
Yeah, yeah,
you're
yeah.
not
So it's what's got,
fucking
it's in
amateur.
there. It's got the oil all through it, and it's going up and down.
A piston, imagine this is your piston.
So he's putting the microphone. Nice road.
yeah, it's
What is it?
lovely
What's the name of it?
Procaster.
Procaster mic.
Right. So what happens is you've got this that can move up and down. Right.
We're taking this
it's
as
a bit, looks a bit sexy right now.
He's actually wanking.
gonna-
it.
Scooter Derek.
I'm
No,
gonna
how you can use the
shows how to use a
coffee
hand
cup.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, okay.
So that's your piston going up and down. That lives inside a cylinder,
Yeah.
right? And then on top is a cylinder head that bolts down. So when you push the piston up, it squashes
What is it squashing?
anything that's in there, gas.
Oh, yeah.
What is in there? What's the purpose?
Ideally,
And that
a
lights up,
mixture of
doesn't it?
air and petrol.
Okay.
And so that
Ideally.
creates fire?
It creates a massive amount of compression, which is optimum for fire. And then the spark plug, it pushes right up there. Remember, that's connected to a con rod, a connecting rod, which is kind of on a bit of a swing.
Yeah, so which actually is getting traction.
It turns
on
the up
turning
and
something,
down into a round motion, right? Which is what you want for the engine.
Yes.
Right. So the piston's at the top, the gases are squashed up like fuck, right? And then bam, the spark plug ignites that gas ball. And of course, it pushes the piston down because there's
Shoots
a
it
fucking
down, yeah.
explosion
Fast?
going on.
Is that why cars are loud?
Fast as. Yeah, it's an explosion. That's what's coming out. That's what you're
You'd
hearing.
expect it to be bang, 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 bang,
It's
bang.
actually a fast burn rather than explosion officially,
Oh, yeah.
legally.
Why do you say that?
I don't know, because it is. It's actually in slow motion. The gases are being burnt. They're not
Expanding.
exploding. So that pushes the piston down. In a car, when that's coming down, there's another piston that's up here, and that's my other hand up here for the listeners, and then that happens there, and that pushes it down, and they're all.
There's
and they
multiple.
make it-
So
that
how
creates
many?
and that just
energy?
goes on
That's
and on and
energy.
on. Well, it's spinning the wheel.
How
And
much?
each piston doing one wheel?
The piston. No,
No, the drive.
Oh my.
So how many-
The piston comes.
How many pistons do you have per car? So if you've got
Is that what a
a
V8 is or a V6?
Yeah,
6 pistons versus 8
yeah,
pistons?
that's what it is.
Can you get a V12?
Yes,
12
Jaguar
pistons?
do your V12 and a lot of boats.
You winked. Are you joking about the pistons? And
No,
the
I just find it amazing to talk this stuff because
So hang on. What,
when I was your age, it was just like nobody wouldn't know it.
does
It'd be like a special thing.
does a whippersnipper engine has one just
That's-
going up and down,
they're usually two-stroke.
two-stroke.
the two-stroke
which means-
means
No, let's
you
not
have
get into
to,
that.
it means you have to mix one part oil and one part petrol.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you have to
Why?
lubricate the motor.
because there's only one. What is a stroke though?
all right. This is going to take some time, but a two-stroke motor means that it's very, very simple. When the piston comes down, it sucks the fuel in. Then when it goes, and at the same time, the exhaust's going out, believe it or not, through holes in the cylinder. And then when it comes up, it traps the gases and does it all again. So it's two strokes, down and up. That's the only two things that happen. Down lets the fuel in, gets the exhaust out, pushes up. Very simple.
Yeah.
A four-stroke motor maybe came a bit later and it has valves in the top. So when the piston goes down, at the same time, your cam, lumpy cam, you remember you would have heard people say camshaft and all that. Your cam indicates when the valve opens to let the fuel in when it's going down.
It's doing two things
And then it
simultaneously.
goes up. And as it goes up, another valve opens and lets the exhaust out. Then it comes down again, lets the fuel in, and then compresses. So there's 4 movements per explosion or burn.
And so
or
my
spark.
i30, what would that be? 2 or 4
I
stroke?
don't know what an i30
You've
is. It
probably
sounds
got
like a
a V-
telephone.
You've got a V6.
But so what does that mean in regards to strokes?
You've got 6 cylinders.
And so that's
All cars
a
are
cylinder.
They're all 4-stroke.
All cars are
They're all
four-stroke.
They're all
Yeah.
4-stroke.
and that's based on because you could have 6. Could you have 6 cylinders that are 2-stroke? Are there V6 motorbikes?
Don't think so.
Wait,
What,
so if
the BMW
a
bike?
4-stroke,
It's nothing to do
Why-
with the cylinders.
why do you have to put oil in a 4-stroke engine?
4-stroke engine runs because the way the pistons don't have to the
Go all the way?
piston rings, they're things that go around the piston that create a seal on the cylinder. They don't have to go past holes.
Mm.
In a 2-stroke, they have to slide past holes, which means
Friction.
You lose the oil thing. So in a 4-stroke, they have an oil ring. So it's just the oil that's in the engine gets pumped up and it's on and it gets sort of onto the piston ring and lubricates it without it being lost. It just loosens
And
it
so
up.
what's a Tesla doing?
And a two-stroke, you put the oil in it and it gets wasted and burnt.
So what's a Tesla doing? It's
don't have
bypassing any of that stuff and like
It's an electric
direct
motor.
to the
It's electric
direct
motor.
What
to
is
the
an
wheel,
electric
direct
motor,
to the
though?
flywheel.
Well, an electric motor puts – this is great. Are we actually still filming?
Yeah, dude.
You guys wait so I know.
Yeah.
An electric motor, basically you're putting a charge into a magnet, right? So that – and then have a bit of metal – putting it very, very simply, if a bit of metal is turning around and you've got electromagnet, so electromagnet is a magnet that's operated by putting electricity into it, and that electromagnet puts some juice into that so that this part of the thing turning around is attracted, so it turns that way.
Is it almost like a
And
spark
when it gets
plug?
to there, the magnet changes polarity and pushes it away.
Okay,
And it's happening hundreds
And
of
so
times.
they can get momentum.
So it just, you turn it on and it just the magnetic force, it goes, whoa, fuck. And it's just this constant battle of trying to get away from the magnet.
And so this is why they can get 1.8 second, 100 kilometers, 60 miles per hour, because it's direct, it's instant torque.
Torque from zero is the big torque, TALK torque around electric motors. And that's the thrill.
Torque
people
from
get
zero,
electric
instant
motors.
torque. So
And
it's
so
direct.
all the
It's
torque
not,
is
there's
right
no
there.
something going down up and needing to then fire and
Yeah,
send.
because of gas speeds with motors, especially the two-stroke motors that I work on. All your real power, it's called power band. When you're kids, and people go, "Oh, it's got power band.
It's got a power band on it.
And suddenly it gets quicker. That's because it's two-stroke motors are all about the speed of the gas moving. Do you know if you didn't have an exhaust pipe on a two-stroke motor, the exhaust comes out and so does the fuel down the exhaust pipe, down the exhaust hole. So there's not enough fuel. But what happens is that exhaust pipe actually, there's a shock wave of the last one that went off. So bam, the shock wave goes down the exhaust pipe, has a reaction. It's designed scientifically so that the shock wave bounces off the back of the pipe, back down the pipe. This is a sound wave, shock wave, right? Back down the pipe and pushes the fuel, tucks it back in just in time for the piston getting up there.
That's great.
I know. So at different
What's a backfire?
revs,
What is a backfire?
oh, that's when the fuel in the exhaust pipe, usually there's fuel in the exhaust pipe that hasn't burnt and then it does.
James, Conspiracy Jimmy has a Skyline R34 GTR V-Spec and he can get that thing firing out the back. Like he can get it shooting fire.
You want like that's a okay, yeah, sure.
It's well,
It's a
I don't know what's
feature.
happening. Yeah, well, it's a result of the engine doing something.
The key bangers, when we were young, you could do a key banger.
What's that?
Well, you're driving along, like hammering, and then you turn your key off and then put it back on. So you
And it
turn
would
your key
fire-
off
and it
and
would
it's
fire.
still in the old cars. There's no EFI or anything. So the carburetor's still pumping fuel right through everything. Then you put it back on and if you're lucky, well, yeah. And then a year later, you're sulking about having to buy a new exhaust pipe with all your doll money.
And so just quickly, the electric vehicles, the ability to go from 0 to 60,
Miles per hour.
the speed, is that based on the size of the magnet?
Well, the specs of the motor involve the size of the magnets and not the size of the magnet, but how much power you put in, the amperage, the voltage.
Is there a point where the
electric.
magnet gets too big and it doesn't have much of an impact? Like, there's got to be like a fine line, right?
I
Diminishing
don't know
returns.
the details of all this stuff.
Okay.
This
But
is electric
in answer to
motors.
your question, it's a faster process, which is why you can get that 0 to 100, 0 to 60.
It doesn't rely on any particular rev range or gas speed.
So it's probably
just right
efficiency
there.
within the magnet. So potentially a smaller magnet with a higher electricity input or whatever could potentially make. I don't know anything.
The thing about progress is the progress of the petrol motor went a long way when they had EFI, electronic fuel injection. So it instead of having a carburetor and just sending what you think it needs, one setting.
Send it.
The EFI, what?
Send it.
End it?
Send it.
Oh, right. So they...
That would have been very rude. Halfway through it comes.
He's done off. But they have sensors and so everything became more and more efficient. With the electric motors, it's a similar thing. The more electronic control and computer control you have over them, the more they can control when these magnets are turning on and off and, and stuff like that. And they have that regenerative braking thing. So they reverse the polarity quickly when you put your brakes on and it acts as a generator.
What does traction control do?
That's something to do with cars, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are we talking cars? No.
Brakes.
Just
It's to do
very
with
quickly,
brakes.
97, the piston bit. Did he say piston?
Yeah, do you want me to
No,
play?
I didn't say that. I didn't say
Okay,
piston.
right. Just don't get upset.
Do you want me to play?
Yeah, please.
play, please.
Give it a second.
And that, it was so loose. So loose.
Mate,
It was
that sounds like car stuff. Hey, how's your car?
No.
Is your completely written off?
It's Gonski's, yeah.
Oh, you've gone
the
too far.
Astra, was
I
it?
had an Astra, yeah.
Zippy. It was
and
very zippy.
Well, that was a
Who was the
nightmare.
guest that was on the show?
That was Adam and Simon.
Oh, yeah.
But what do you know about cars now?
No, it wasn't even about cars. It was like tinkering with fucking, how do you take this piston out? Not even that. It was so loose. So okay, so I'll tell you exactly what I meant. We never worked on cars. We were never working on car engines. What you just said is, what is ABS, or what do you say, traction control?
Yeah.
He says, I don't know about cars. We're talking about engines. There's engines that aren't associated with cars that have pistons.
What does
and so we were
automotive
talking
mean?
about automotive class. You just got bogged down in the details. It's automotive class working on fucking lawnmower engines.
What is the
We
definition
had to
of automotive?
try and put one back together or something. It was
They
fun.
always use lawnmower engines as
Well, they're probably
for
cheap,
schools and
right?
stuff. Yeah. What was
It's
the
tough as nails. A Vector. We're talking about Victor,
Victor.
the Victor engines. That was a really tough Aussie engine, and so they were just putting those back together. The point was, I would have enjoyed it more if we're trying to work on cars and shit, but we're working on dumb little engines for
You wanted
nothing.
to go straight to
97? Automotive.
Related to motor vehicles.
Pardon?
Related to motor vehicles.
Yeah. But they call it automotive. It's not my fucking choice what
Well,
they
I
call
guess
the
part
class.
of it,
It was like automotive class.
do you think that you would eventually get there? Maybe.
No, this guy was just an old Vietnam vet who was angry and just fucking teaching us bullshit.
Is this school?
This was like a
Right.
VCAL program. They
He's
had to
upset
dumb it
about
down for the VCAL kids. That just tell
What's
me that.
VCAL mean?
I don't know. Curricular
Victorian Certificate of Applied
learning.
Learning.
Yeah, that was good hands-on stuff. But anyway, so
Do you know why I love coming on this show?
Why?
I have to tell you, I thought about this and I can't really remember. In the car, I went, I must tell him this,
Oh yeah,
right? I love it because, I sit there and I produce, engineer and edit so many different podcast shows now and it's really hard to stay in the lane. That's my mantra. Stay in your lane, Derek, stay in your lane. You got someone there being interviewed, they're being interviewed by someone in Sydney, like the Batoot Advocate or me or something like that, and they're doing it, and I'm just the engineer. And I was like, you just always want to join in. It's like listening to your show in the car.
yeah.
Because in the car, I'm okay because I just can shout at you.
We call
Oh,
it-
you dickhead, Tommy! It's not spelt like that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I mean,
not
it's
how
great.
That's not how you pronounce it, right?
If you didn't stuff up, you don't have
That was awesome.
feedback.
Yeah.
because people are just like,
But I love it. But when I'm sitting there engineering, headphones on, being very, very quiet, sometimes it's frustrating. I always want to join in.
yeah,
So
yeah.
when I come on here, I get that chance to have a good yap.
Yeah,
Well, we
yeah.
should definitely get it. One day I want it set up so we have a live stream and you could be listening on your phone and then there's a Derek phone and you call in and you say, hey guys, how you're talking about that?
There'll be some app. There'll
That's
be
my
something.
dream, to have an app that allows you to instantly interact with these
Yeah.
streams.
Yeah,
It probably is. It's
WhatsApp or
probably
text
called
message or phone calls,
phone calls, or you can do it
Skype,
right now.
FaceTime.
When you get that crazy button that says, when you watch a live stream, it says, do you want to ask if you can join? I always press it.
Instagram.
Do you have to say no every time, or do you just
A little request pops up, but you can just ignore it. So.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
the reason why we ignore it is because we don't feed the audio from the
phone.
from
We
the
can't
phone
feed
into
it
the
back in.
mixer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
I know
if
that,
we could
I know
hear
that. But I do it anyway to Tom.
No, I do it sometimes just to see if I get a shout out. Oh, Tommy's trying to get in.
yeah, definitely.
Sorry, mate.
Actually, there was a moment yesterday. I was on a someone was doing a live stream. Random. It was actually someone who started following us first.
Right.
Then they'd unfollowed us, but the Daily Talk Show had still followed him, and he was doing a live stream, and the Daily Talk Show was the only person. And so my instinct is just to leave it straight away.
It's so awkward, isn't it?
But I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep it on. And so he ended up like, oh, hey guys, and waved to the Daily Talk Show because we're the only ones there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's that weird thing where it's like, oh, hey guys, this is what I'm working on right now. It's like talking, but it's
Just you
It's
and
just
him.
one.
Yeah.
It's good
You
fun.
FaceTime each other.
I've done that a few times where I just put it on quiet and put the phone down and leave it watching because you just don't want to hurt
Yeah,
anyone's
because it
feelings.
goes down to 0. Then they know who left.
Or someone's like if there's a family you know of, and this has happened, right? But if there's a family you know of,
What does that mean?
and one of their kids,
Oh, okay.
it says, oh, they're doing a live stream, right? Teenagers. Then you go, I better have a look because they might be streaming the Barbie, and they're my friends. And then suddenly on their phone it says, you know, Uncle Derek's watching your pillow fight, Barbie fight. You go, oh, just
Sometimes-
get out.
Sometimes if I'm early in, I get straight out because I'm worried. It's like because they see it. Tommy's joint. Fuck, I'm
There's got to be a preview. That's the next thing. It's a bit invasive. You can't have a quick look
It
to
should
see
like
what they're doing.
5
Just a
seconds.
hold. No, you can do a
5
hold on it. You know,
What does
like
that
a
mean?
you know when you long press an image on Instagram, it comes up with like a little preview.
Oh yeah, you can see
You can
that.
do that,
okay.
and so it doesn't actually register, but you get like a
Really?
however long you hold it. No,
I guess
that's a
it's-
feature.
Oh,
that could
you
be
want that.
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah.
want to? I thought it was a
Right.
feature.
it
No,
is.
no, no.
Be
That'd
It's,
be a great
it's a
idea.
great feature.
We need a way of knowing when you guys are going live because I want to see
Yeah.
every live thing you do.
Really? Yeah, I appreciate
Except I can't
You got
because I don't know when it is.
You got to go Harvey
No, but
Norman.
is there a system of like
Yeah,
you know,
Push notifications. Yeah, definitely.
You can
But I
turn
haven't
the
got
bell on.
Do you have push notifications on Insta? Surely.
You
Yeah.
could. You could.
So you
set it
get
up.
told when we're streaming?
It doesn't tell me.
Okay,
So you
it
could
should.
get the bell.
All right, well,
you could
let's
probably
sort that
press
out
like an
after
alerts
Yeah,
button
on YouTube, definitely.
on something.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching or listening. If you have been, if you're listening to my voice, you were listening or watching.
Yeah,
Either one.
and,
You can't get out of that.
So whilst Derek is in Easy Street making podcasts, what we do every day, we're based in Abbotsford here in Ferguson Street. We make videos. And so if you want a video, hi at thedailytalkshow.com.
If you've got value out of this show,
Mm-hmm.
we don't ask for much ever, and all we ask is that if you need a video, we're you guys.
Bar mitzvahs, weddings, no.
And we have been asked to
No.
do those.
We've
in the past.
moved on from
I
that.
think that was 10 years ago.
They are good. God, these guys are good video makers.
Oh, thank you. I thought you meant the
I
weddings.
weep when they see their work. Weep. Beautiful.
It's a Daily Talk Show. Apple Podcast too. You can leave us a review there. We've got 180 reviews. That's exciting. 97. Maybe tomorrow we can read out one.
Yeah.
All right. See you tomorrow, guys.
See you guys.